minus 1 minute.
More juice for the hero.
Like the juice.
T minus 50 seconds.
At the point where we're at, it is a lot easier for new people to get up to speed really quick.
T minus 40 seconds.
Let's go. That's a W. That's E1. That's E1. That's a W. How many people want to eat a W tonight?
T minus 30 seconds.
Rick Hill taking over our camera. I think there may be a penalty for excessive celebration, but you know what? I'm going to let that one slide.
T minus 20 seconds.
That's what I'm talking about. Now y'all some fun.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
Take a deep
4,
breath.
3,
This is it, right
2,
here.
1, 0.
Let's dig in, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Card Wire 2023 free agency, just a week away. I'm Andy Kazin. This is Steve, the eBay hitman Caladesi, live from Chicago. How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Had to start a little early tonight. We got a little snowstorm in here, so dealing with that. But, man, while it's cold outside, it's definitely heating up in the NFL talks, so I'm a bit excited about that.
Snowstorm, dude. It's like 91 degrees here on the daily right now.
Yeah, it was not supposed to stick, but it's sticking. So this is looking like the last one, most likely.
Car, yeah. No, Derek reminded me that we're not in the season, so this is not the true Card Wire. That's kind of what I coined the show during the season last season when Tuesday nights we would go live and we would plan for the week ahead and look at which guys are applicable in football cards and look at their prices and try and snipe some cards live and stuff. So I guess now this is just live eBay sniping, football card buy, sell, hold type talk as we pull up live comps and try and find some deals live and talk about who we're selling. I'll tell you guys one thing. I know Jets fans are on an emotional roller coaster. They're on the edge of their seats right now on the cusp of getting Aaron Rodgers. But at the same time, raise your hand if you're making some money on those Jordan Love cards. I mean, if you got them, now is the time to get those listed because it's going to peak once this news drops because it looks like it's very, very close. Unless Aaron Rodgers has some last second change of heart, then this is gonna happen, man.
Yeah, I think that in anywhere either quarterback ends up, potentially will make a splash in the receivers and probably all the skill position players on that team too. At least a quick splash.
That's a very good point. At least a quick splash, and especially those Jets skill position players, the guys like Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore. I don't. It'd be interesting to look at what the current market is for Breece Hall coming off the ACL, but surely he'll get an ADP bump. Right now, it's directly correlated with their fantasy ADP, right? If Garrett Wilson is currently with Zach Wilson, a third, fourth round fantasy wide receiver, with Aaron Rodgers, he's got first round fantasy wide receiver potential. His ADP is going to go up. At the same time, his rookie card demand is going to go up, which depletes the supply of those good rookie cards that you want, which in turn, causes the price to go up. It's that good old law of supply and demand. Completely different though when it comes to sports card. Not completely, but there's a lot of differences when it comes to the sports card market compared to the fantasy football market because of all that variety in there. The different amount of rookie cards for each player.
Yeah, I think pending an injury and pending a starting caliber quarterback for the Jets, I think this could be a monster season for Breece Hall. Reminiscent perhaps of the Jonathan Taylor rookie season.
Yeah, I pulled this up. All the Jets players. You got Sauce trying to get Aaron Rodgers there. You got Tyler Conklin, Quinnen Williams. You got all these guys, Justin Hardy, trying to get Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, all sending tweets at him. And then Adam Schefter had the Jets fans on that roller coaster with the Jets agreed to a trade. And then 1 minute later, it was about picking up safety Chuck Clark. But it's on the cusp, man. I pulled up the Jordan Love sold items, like boom, rookie ticket auto base, buy it now, sold today, just probably earlier, like an hour before the live stream, $480. And we just looked at the comps for Jalen Hurts like a week and a half ago, and those were around 650 right now. So this is really, really astonishing. And the Tuas are now pulled all the way back to like a $300 rookie ticket auto. I would not be surprised if there were some auctions for Tua that go under that, even, as now there's new rumors surfacing that Tom Brady may actually make a comeback in 2023, and it may be the Dolphins. Who knows, man? It may be the 49ers. Who knows?
It's definitely something we talk about with the volatility of the quarterback position. Obviously, anybody that's got a lot of hype, a lot of news around them is going to jump around, but especially quarterbacks, especially young quarterbacks. You saw the Jordan Love would have just sold for today. I'm pretty sure, Andy, those during the season were going for like, what, 110, 120 at the top end, maybe?
Yeah, the best time to buy Jordan Love was back in October. And that's such a great point you bring up, Steve. That is now 2 years in a row the best time to buy these quarterback good rookie cards, man. These rare rookie cards, the rookie autos, the low serial numbers. I mean, look at this XR. This XR, it just has very little desirability around it, except for a serial number out of 75 and an autograph. This is like a $50 card if it wasn't for this news and the current hype cycle that we're in, heading into free agency starting next week, and the combine just finished. And it's just so much excitement right now about how these teams are going to shape up over the course of this offseason. You know, there's a major question for every single team. And obviously this is probably the biggest storyline now that Derek Carr's landed on the Saints. Can't wait to get your opinion on that, Steve. This is the next biggest domino to fall. And then it's like, you know, you've got 3 quarterbacks probably going in the first 10 picks, maybe 4 quarterbacks going in the first 10 picks of this year's draft. So that's going to be exciting for 2023 product. We can look at the price of 2022 product and see how it's going to change in 2023. I think it's going to be very interesting because it's gone down a lot for 2022. These are just major observations I'm having right off the bat, stuff that is unfolding this week right before us, Steve. So much news is going down, and it's having a big buy-sell frenzy on eBay.
The news is always the big splash, and it takes a bit of a significant happening for it to kind of stay around where it is when that news spike happens. You saw the opposite effect with Sam Ehlinger during the season, where his prices skyrocketed, but after just a start or two, came back down to earth. So, his prices right now would stay high basically until the season starts, until he maybe has a bad game or two, or were to lose the job or something like that. So, I mean, if you were buying during last season or even before all this trade rumor stuff started to happen, you're in a really good position. It seems imminent. They said that there's a contract written up. It's just his to take it or not for Rodgers right now. So that just goes to show you how good or bad the QB news around the league can be for a trading card's value.
Yeah, man. And look at the sold volume. So I've got our web app pulled up, which I get this question all the time. So just to remind you guys get access to this through patreon.com/footballcards. Even our base tier, $6 a month, that includes access to our Discord server, 1 entry into our monthly giveaway, the weekly article written article that I release every Friday morning, and this web app. And you can come in here and look at the players tab of it, and you can see the week over week, buy it now, sold volume. This is for all graded football cards. You can see the position sorting here on the top right. I've got it position all. Look at it. Joe Burrow, 305. Justin Herbert, 220. Jalen Hurts, 195. Trevor Lawrence, 240. So I can actually come in here and just sort it like that. And then Jordan Love, number 5 right now with a 254% increase week over week. And you can see his corresponding Quest rank, which I probably got to get with the web developer Jaritos and update these Quest scores. But he's pulled this from my sheet that hasn't been updated since like December or something. So, but this gives you a really good idea of who's moving. You can see that the top 10 players are all quarterbacks. And then you do have Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, number 3. Is that interesting for you, Steve, to see Jalen Waddle there at number 3? There's Tom Brady still 43 in the past week, graded football cards sold.
I like the Waddle of, man. I've been big on him since he got drafted, and I don't think we've fully seen the uncapped potential just yet. You know, I think that the injuries to Tua kind of put a cap on what his season could have been last year, but man, talk about an elite tandem of receivers there that could have a long time shining together with the right quarterback.
I'm loving the percentage growth right now, and it just goes to show you people are buying, man. People are really buying right now. They're hunting down. I don't even know. You know, a lot of times you find conflicting information on whether or not they're actually doing any comping process. Like, I know I've been there before. I wanted to impulsively buy a rookie card of a guy that I saw in the news, and I was thinking that when I saw the news drop that I was making the right decision without going through any type of draft class comping or comparable comping, trying to find something similar in scarcity and draft class, and just like the whole thing, like the athleticism, the role, the Hall of Fame marker, you know, just the whole 9 yards, looking at that entire, like the fan base of the team he's on, their power ranking and all that kind of stuff, and just buying the card, you know, which in some cases, yeah, you have all those kind of questions answered. You know, this player is definitely going to go up in value. Like, I'm looking at Jordan Love right now, and I think, you know, he's probably going to go up another 10% more, maybe 20%. We'll see. I haven't seen this. It's definitely gone up, but I don't think it's been crazy, and it could definitely go up more based on what I'm seeing. But man, people are buying a lot, which I know is going to lead to some pretty significant price increase, especially when that news drops. And I think if you're buying it after that news drops, then you're too late. You know, ultimately is what I'm trying to get at.
No, it's going to be interesting. I definitely think there is still some room, because like you said, it's going to be the news, the official news is what's going to really drive it through the ceiling. Right now, it's all preeminent, and when it actually happens, you're going to see the bigger spike. I wouldn't be surprised if the news breaks between now and next week if he shoots up to like the top 1 or 2 spot.
So what do you think about the Saints stock now that they get Derek Carr? I want to pull Derek Carr up on the web app. I want to get your thoughts on Derek Carr to the Saints. Also, we just saw a rumor earlier that I'll let you share with the guys about one of the Saints wide receivers. So what's your thoughts on Derek Carr and those Saints skill position players?
I tell you what, I think it's actually maybe to your advantage if you're looking to get into him still, because here's the thing is he's coming off of not one of his best years. I actually believe statistically it's one of his second worst seasons, which still wasn't actually that bad. So the arrow is definitely pointing up, and I think he can turn it around. I think the whole Raiders offense as a whole was just not there last year. So I think that this could be a really good opportunity, and there's going to be maybe a hair more eyes on him right now just because he's on a new team. So if he puts a couple good games together, the arrow is going to be pointed way up.
Yeah, Derek Carr has had much better than average deep ball numbers. It's been one area that he's excelled in. So I think I get most excited about Chris Olave, the second-year stud from Ohio State, because I mean that guy was a deep ball specialist last year. I mean, he's the guy that's going to take the top off the defense, and he's the guy that Derek Carr is going to be targeting on those deep passes. Yeah, so I do get excited more so for Chris Olave, I think, than I do Derek Carr. But there's part of me like also that I don't know, Derek Carr doesn't have much mobility. So from a fantasy standpoint, I still kind of push him down the rankings. And then from a bias standpoint, I still have a very deep hatred for the Saints because they've always given the Buccaneers problems.
Yep.
So, he's not a guy that's gonna work his way into my PC. Let's just say that. But if I was thinking about it unbiased, obviously this is a massive upgrade over the guys that they've had. But I get more excited about Chris Olave, Steve.
Yeah, not too far off number-wise last year between him and Dalton. But again, that was a very down season for him. He's always put up massive numbers every year, passing yard-wise, but seems to always lack in that touchdown category. If they can if they can make one of these guys into a genuine red zone threat, I think that changes. So I think it remains to be seen what Sean Payton can do in a 1-year turnaround for these guys. But I think the arrow is pointing in the right direction. Probably not what you want to hear, as a tier 1 Tampa Bay fan, but I definitely think that they're going to be, at least to say, better than last year, almost for sure.
Yeah, I mean the Bucks. My expectations for the Bucks are very low this year. I know he's had his issues, but we've released left tackle Donovan Smith. We're letting Levante David, our Hall of Fame linebacker, granted he's 33 now, but we're letting him more or less walk or test the waters in free agency. I mean, it's not looking too great. I think Jamel Dean is going to get a big contract, one of our better corners on defense. So it's not looking too good for the Bucks. My expectations are not pretty high, and I could see Derek Carr throwing quite a few touchdowns to Chris Olave against us this upcoming year. And maybe even Michael Thomas. It looks like he may stay with the team, as the latest rumors they're trying to restructure his contract. He's actually, I think that's smart of him to try and stay, even if it's for like a bare bones contract at this point. He's literally played 4 games in the past 3 years or something crazy. So it's like,
it's really, it's really bad.
Yeah, I mean, who's gonna pay you in free agency? You haven't really done anything since 2019. So I thought they were going to release him, but he's agreed to restructure down to a minimum style contract to kind of help them out.
I mean, he played his best football when he was making $700K a year. Maybe that'll be the motivation he needs. They definitely shouldn't guarantee him any money, that's for sure, because we saw what that did. Caused him to suddenly get hurt all the time.
Now, I love this bit of news. The Seahawks signing Geno Smith to a big extension. I like this, man. I love this. I love this news. I'm excited for Seahawks fans. I think Geno's gonna ball out again, man. Ball out again this upcoming year. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL this past year, Derek. I don't think it's a small sample size. Like, I don't think it's an anomaly. I think it's I think man, Geno's having a resurrection. I gotta look up some Geno cards because I wouldn't mind buying another Geno card or two, because look at the NFC West. Okay, yeah, San Francisco 49ers are a powerhouse, but the Cardinals are entering total rebuild mode. The latest from them, DeAndre Hopkins wants out. Kyler Murray doesn't want to play, really, and he's coming off an injury. And, I mean, it's just the whole team isn't decimated. The defense is going to regress. It's just, J.J. Watt retired. I mean, it's just the whole team is going to regress. And then the Rams, like the Rams are, they had that rags to riches team, or what do you call scrubs and what do you call that? They had like a scrubs and all stars type team where they had a bunch of scrubs, but then they had a few all stars, and they got to the Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl, but last year was just absolutely complete disarray, injuries galore. Sean McVay lacking creativity, and we'll see what they can do next year, man. But they've got a lot of fixing up and to do on that team. So I'm looking at the Seahawks as real contenders out of the NFC West, and the NFC as a whole, I still think is not going to be nearly as strong as the AFC is next year, especially with Rodgers potentially going to the Jets and stuff. So. And teams like Miami getting better, Buffalo still being really good, Kansas City still being the king of the NFL, so I mean it's gonna be like the Chargers are still a contender. I mean, the Broncos are gonna get better with Sean Payton. I mean, just so the AFC is still gonna be really stacked, and the NFC is still gonna be way behind. So I look at the Seahawks as potentially being some pretty serious contenders again next year.
They gave him a lot of money, Andy. I don't disagree that they maybe didn't have a better choice, but I think he was overpaid, being completely honest. It's a lot. It's a lot of money to throw at a guy who basically had, one good season.
I think his 3-year extension includes $40 million guaranteed. He'll make $28 million in the first year of the new deal, with $75 million over 3 seasons. He'll have $30 million in incentives. He agreed to the extension after his impressive 2022 season. Let's see. I'm going to see if they had that compared to. Yeah. So. Wow. Yeah, I mean he's locked in, man. He's a locked in starter. So have his prices really reacted that way? I would say no. Steve, just kind of looking at this at a first glance. He also doesn't have a ton of graded product. Obviously, I can see a few buy it nows here. I've talked to some Seahawks fans. They're definitely on board the Geno train. They're collecting him. But I think there's a big difference there in as a Seahawks fan in collecting Geno Smith in Jets uniform going back to 2013, or getting something of Geno from 2022 or newer of him in a Seahawks uniform. I think that's going to have a big market,
That Topps Magic is interesting, numbered out of 10, $40. I mean, you think about like almost any other younger QB in the league, and that card would be 2-3 times that price at the bare minimum.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of buy it nows. So, the volume is the precursor to prices going up. So this is good. Because, I mean, cards like this, even when Geno was balling out during the season last season, were not selling for this much. I'll tell you that right now. Cards like this right here, like this Inception, even though it is numbered out of 25, the fact that it's got 00 on the jersey, some people frown upon that. It's from like, a Topps off-brand and stuff. I mean, this card probably just wouldn't have sold for as much. There's one of my favorite inserts, the Hot Rookies from 2013 Select, PSA 10 Pop 4, such a high gem rate. There's such a big opportunity for Geno Smith raw cards and get them graded, like especially the ones that have the higher gem rates. Like the Topps Chrome products, not a very good gem rate. Like your chances of the gem rate there probably pretty low from what I've seen. But on those 2013 Selects, it's pretty good. It's really good.
Yeah, it's kind of like a double-edged sword because the desirability factor is going to be with the Topps Chrome. But hey, I agree with you. The Hot Rookies is just a gorgeous card.
Look, there's 5 10s and 1 9, 0 8s. So hey, how about that percentage of 10s? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's outstanding.
Tremendous potential there, and you can go and compare that. So we were just talking about DeAndre Hopkins. I think DeAndre Hopkins gets out of there. He wants out of there. He is willing to. The latest news today is that Hopkins is willing to restructure his contract with the Cardinals to help them trade him. He wants out so bad. He would be flexible in the last 2 years of his contract if traded. He's not even looking for a top of the market deal, even though he showed a tremendous amount of juice and athletic ability still left in the tank this past season in the final 10 games or so that he played, 10, 11 games. I mean, get this guy on a good team and his market is going to go way up. He's already a fringe Hall of Famer, and he's got such an iconic highlight reel. I mean, it's just the catches that DeAndre Hopkins can make are insane. So, and he could still play at a high level. The like Odell Beckham, he's working out. Like the latest rumors on him, he's working out. I think tomorrow out west, and of course the Giants are going to be there. But I mean, he's on the wrong side of 30, and he's coming off another injury, a torn ACL with the Rams in the Super Bowl. And he's only played like 20 games in the past 3 years. And I don't think he's nearly as good as DeAndre Hopkins is anymore if I were to compare those two guys. So I think Hopkins is a guy that's got a lot of potential somewhere new.
He's not just playing for money at this point. I mean, this guy needs a championship. He wants to build his Hall of Fame resume. He knows that, he's on the, like you said, the wrong side of the age spectrum as far as longevity in the league goes, unless you're like Jerry Rice playing into your 40s. But, this guy can go just about anywhere and be successful. But there's definitely not an ideal situation in Arizona where there's just question marks over just about every aspect of that team, from leadership to all the way up the line. It's just a hot mess.
Rookie ticket auto for $50, Steve. That's about the same as the last Geno Smiths that I saw sell for Raw. Obviously compared to Travis Kelce card, same card from 2013 is now probably a $300 card, give or take. And we can't compare him to him because now he's being compared to Rob Gronkowski. He's being compared to the best tight end of all time type of category. But we're talking an elite skill position category here. I think it's a very fair comparison to look at DeAndre Hopkins and compare him to Geno Smith and that their current markets. And seeing a $50 rookie ticket auto, I feel like there's some really solid upside there. I mean, auction on December 9th, like going back to the season, $64. So right off the bat, like there's upside in that. And this is like, if we could get him a new team, man, I really think, and that's where all signs are pointing. All signs are pointing there. So it's like, if this does happen, this is a very, very good opportunity right now for DeAndre Hopkins investors.
I haven't seen a lot of news about his potential landing spots. I have seen two teams named in particular, Patriots, which I think they just have a history of ruining the output fantasy-wise anyways of receivers. And actually the Bears were another team linked to him. So I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, the Patriots market, though, would be massive, man. Their fan base is so big. If they did land him, that would be huge. That would be really huge.
Let's see. Hard Jimbo on the chat says Vegas Dave invested $2 million into Derek Carr cards. Oh, man.
Yeah, he did. I saw the commercial. He's got like a giant locker full of Derek Carr cards. And honestly, I mean, now's the time. Go ahead and sell them, man. But I'm Davis, Vegas Dave, whatever his name is. Who knows? If he even, who knows that guy? That guy's kind of wild. But yeah, I mean, obviously you could see And actually, these are quite a few auctions. I don't think nearly as many people are excited about Derek Carr to the Saints as, let's say, Jets fans are about Aaron Rodgers, or even just hobbyists, period, about Jordan Love. You know, it's not driving a lot of FOMO, not driving a lot of that fear of missing out mentality that really makes the market go pretty crazy. I mean, yeah, there's some good volume, a lot of good sales activity here for Carr. Nothing crazy though. Nothing really skyrocketing, Steve.
Here's the thing, though. Think about, we talk about all the intricacies that go into, what's going to cause a popularity spike or a value spike or whatever. You look at Carr to the Jets, and you have him in a young nucleus team that's winning ready. You know what you're getting with that team. You have a major, huge market in New York. And then you say Carr to the Saints, and you have a team that's kind of rebuilding. Doesn't really have that like winning nucleus that's ready to go, ready to win now. There's a lot of question marks around that. And then you have a smaller market. So like, I think you'd see just simply by him signing with a different team would see a dramatic difference in the amount of, purchases being made already.
Josh Allen prices have surely regressed since the playoffs. And I see this comment here from Orlando Santos. Shout out to Orlando. Appreciate all you guys tuning in. Make sure you guys hit that like button. We got Third and Long, James, Benjamin, Derek, of course, Chad, Eric Morris, Purple Rain, Sports Cards. I started a comment from him earlier. Victor in the house. Victor's got us on the smash the like button. Appreciate you, bro. Got Joe Garza in the house tonight. What's good, man? Loving it. So got Bob. There's Bob. Got Bob in the house. Pumped up Jets fan. I got Hard Jim Ball. Got Tyler Rebellion, and Orlando's comment was about Josh Allen rookie autos. Josh Allen market definitely dipped, but obviously holding very strong, especially his graded market. It's not obviously going to fall off a little bit. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that still take Josh Allen number one overall in the fantasy football superflex leagues this year. Best ball, seasonal, don't you think? Like, I mean, sure, he regressed a bit. Yes, it was a flame out type of playoff season for them, but at the same time, it's still Josh Allen. He's still going to be put a lot of that offensive production on his shoulders, and I don't know. I think he may slide a little bit, but he's definitely going to be in that top 3 to 5 consideration. So it's not like his prices are going to slide too much. So I expect him to still be pretty expensive. I would say, Steve, this is my opinion on Josh Allen. I would say that I would look for them to regress a little bit more in 2023 in a very difficult division in the AFC East, and buy into Josh Allen in like October or early November after they get off to a tumultuous start to the season. And then you find your best prices of people panic selling, people needing the cash heading into the holiday season. That is probably going to be your best time to buy Josh Allen this year. That's my opinion. What say you, Steve?
Basically spot on. I think that they're still kind of tumbling down a hair from the playoff letdown. And they'll just kind of be a bit stagnant into to next year, and maybe even continue to trickle down. And that's going to be probably your best entry opportunity for a guy that's like in the top tier of prices for QBs for rookie cards. So especially on the high end stuff, man, those prices are no joke. $1,000 for a PSA 10 or $500 for a PSA 10. That's not your everyday buyer, investor, whatever you want to call it. So if you're looking to get in, wait for it to go down to 375 or 800, and whether you're going to hang it on your wall or try to resell it, like that's going to be your best time.
Yeah. And this is the big question for the Bills this offseason is who do they let walk to manage the salary cap? I mean, they've got Josh Allen on a massive big money contract. They have a series of decisions to make about their pending free agents, specifically guys on their defense, linebacker, Tremaine Edmonds, safety, Jordan Poyer. 2 cornerstones of the defense are due new deals, but they might be better off letting each of those guys walk to manage the allocation of resources going forward. So, man, how do you choose one of those 2 guys to keep? Either way, that's a hit to the defense, man, and they can't afford to take any more hits to the defense. Man, it's so I see the writing on the wall for some slight regression here for the Bills heading into 2023, and therefore I would wait and say, hey, I'm gonna buy unless somebody's just willing to go ahead and sell them for way below comps. Now I'm gonna wait and roll the dice and try and buy them in October, early November.
And, regardless of how well he plays, let's say he plays just as good as last year, but, they start out 4-4 or 2-4 or whatever the case is, somewhere around 500, that's going to have a dramatic impact, versus what we saw, for example, with Jalen Hurts, with them just coming out of the gate, smashing everybody and not, getting their first loss until the back fifth of the season, give or take. So, that's going to have, we've seen how dramatic these week to week price shifts can happen. And it is a emotional hobby, right? People price things and buy things on emotion all the time. And it just takes a rough start out of the gates, and it's going to be potentially a great buying opportunity.
Yeah, like Silver Prism Auto, Jalen Hurts here from Big Boyd Sports Cards, ending in 39 minutes, currently $365. We got to reveal what the Kyle Pitts ended for last week. How much do you think this Jalen Hurts goes up to, Steve, before I go look at that Kyle Pitts?
Auto centering is decent, but not great.
Yeah, decent.
I have no comps. My hands are not on the keyboard here. So I'm just going to throw a guess out there. I'm going to say, I'll say 550.
550? I think that's a very fair number. Very fair number. All right. So last week we asked everybody to guess what the ending price would be for the Kyle Pitts. This one right here, Steve, wasn't it? The shadow box, hard signed.
Yeah. No, that's a beauty, man.
Ended
Somebody
yesterday.
got a great card.
$91. So let me pop over here to the YouTube comments. Let's see. YouTube comments. And I had intended to go and actually watch the live stream because a bunch of you guys actually commented in the live stream how much it was going to end for. And I apologize. I did not get to do that. So I'm going to look at the comments underneath that video right now and see what, let's see. Where is it? There it is. Comments.
While Andy's doing that, if that was any of you guys that won that, congratulations, and I would hold on till the Falcons grab a quarterback for themselves.
Wait, somebody responded 11 hours ago. I mean, obviously he looked he looked it up. He put $90. There's no way. He had to have looked it up. He had to have looked it up.
Definitely should be some limitations. If you guessed like an hour before the auction ended, there should be a little bit of a penalty there.
He guessed 11 hours ago. The auction ended last night, so 11 hours was 9:30 this morning. Let's see. All right, so our man Ryan, he went 104.88, so just slight $13 over. Let's see. Billy didn't give a price. All right, Dash 9658 said 113. Scatterbrain 138. Okay, there's Billy's price 175. Swamp Donkey got pretty close 84.50. Jeremiah Goodman 56.75. There's Third and Long. Well, that's the Third and Long logo, but I guess maybe he's got a different username there. It says 128.88. 11 hours ago, this guy hit the nail on the head with $1 off, but that was after the auction ended. Matt Murray, very close to 97, unbeatable 54.68. That's really close to the other. Isn't there another 54.68 up here or something? No, 96.58. Sorry. 97.80. And Brett Hallamore said 123. So I think it's Swamp Donkey off grid.
We might have to put like a 48-hour cap on it next time, Andy.
Yeah. Most of these people responded last week or towards the end of last week in a respectable time frame. I'm gonna give it to Swamp Donkey off grid, man. 84.50. Swamp Donkey, man. If you're out there, James said he was $1 off. I have to go back and watch the live stream. If you were $1 off and I go back and I find that, then I've already got your address, James. I'll send you a prize. 76.69, 550.01. All right, so there you go. Swamp Donkey Offer gets the hit me up, man. Send me an email, ffcardlink@gmail.com. I'm gonna send you this fat pack of 2020 Donruss so you can have your chance at pulling a Burrow, Herbert, Jordan Love, or Tua, or Jalen Hurts, or Justin Jefferson. Dear God, the 2020 class is so loaded, Steve.
Derek just prices righted me with the 550.01.
So check out the best sellers. I want to look. This is a new segment that we do every week, looking at the best sellers on blowoutcards.com. You can find really good deals on here. Oftentimes, guys, they run promos and sales. And these are their most popular football card products sold based on real-time sales. This is apparently updated hourly from what their website says right here. I think it's really interesting to look at what sealed product people are buying from distributors like Blowout Cards. So you can see the top one is a 2020 Prism hanger pack, actually, for $29.95. Do you feel, that's retail price pretty much right there, Steve. I feel like that's a very fair deal if you want to rip some 2021 Prism and have a chance of pulling a Trevor Lawrence or a Justin Fields or a Mac Jones, or maybe you're into Trey Lance. There's a lot of guys. You could pull a Jamar Chase out of there, Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith. There's a lot of talent from the 2021 class as well. It's pretty well loaded, so you can see they've got these prices. I feel like these are pretty fair, don't you, Steve?
I think it's fair. If you went to Walmart and picked up like a Score Blaster, it would probably be about the same price.
Yeah, and that's for the 2022 class. That is just, so bad compared to the 2020 and 2021 class in terms of talent. Let's see what these sell for. Prism, hanger box. See what they sell for on eBay. All right. Now there's more risk involved. You buy it from somebody on eBay. You don't know if they've opened it up and glued the packs back together and taken all the hits out. You buy it from blowoutcards.com. There's a ton of breaks here. Dear God.
You might have to look up new or sealed or something in the search, possibly.
Pack of 3 for $80. So, that's right on par. I like buying it from Blowout just because I have the peace of mind knowing that it hasn't been tampered with and I'm not getting, already a box of cards that's been picked through. What about the 2021 Optic Blasters? I think that if you're looking to rip some product, I would, instead of trying to buy 2022 Score or select draft picks or whatever you're finding on your Target shelf right now for 2022, I would go back and buy some of this 2021 Optic or this 2021 Prism. That would be a fun rip. Or maybe 2022 Bowman Chrome University, Steve, because of how the quarterbacks are going to highlight this first round of this 2023 draft, man, with Bryce Young and CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson dominating the combine. Are you kidding me? I mean, this guy's stock has gone through the roof. Will Levy, Stetson Bennett look like a stud at the combine. I mean, dude, the quarterback class for 2022 is shaping up pretty well. It's going to be, I think, a pretty big first round this year with some teams trading up. I think the Panthers may trade up and try and get a guy. I think the Colts may trade up, try and get a guy. You got the Texans probably going to trade with the Bears, probably going to get Bryce Young. Just saying. I mean, it should be a fun first round, man. Should be a really fun first round draft this year with all the quarterbacks going. Big moves.
We're going to be going live again this year, Andy?
Absolutely. We'll be live. We'll be live streaming the first couple rounds of the draft until we're going to be live streaming it, man. It'll be a party, dude. I'm going to pack the cooler again and we can get sloshed while we live stream the draft and try and snipe football cards and talk about deals and football takes and the whole 9 yards,
some
man.
Deep sleepers that pan out yet again. I want to point out one thing. You asked about the optic blasters. Here's my whole take on that. For $55, you can get an optic blaster. You know, you're not necessarily assured much of anything. It depends on if you're just doing it for fun, if you're looking for something out of it. You know, if you're looking for some kind of get back out of it with a better chance of getting something, you know, it won't be optic, but you can get a hobby box of something for $250 and of a good product nonetheless, and have like 2 guaranteed autos, or, you know, 2 autos and a relic, or that kind of stuff. And there's going to be stuff that's in hobby only product that you won't be able to pull out of those retail boxes.
Gotta love the attention to detail here from Matt Murray. Pulled the calculator out. Probably didn't need to. He said 97 is closer to 91 by $6 compared to $6.50. That's a good point, man. That's a good point. Who was the and I did say in last week's live stream, I said I was not going to do the Price is Right thing if you go over, as it was going to be the closest person regardless. But see, there's a psychological perception there that 91 or 84.50 is closer to 91 than 97. It just, you know, maybe it's the Price is Right has subliminally trained me to think this way, that you can't go over, you know.
You have to have a contingency plan for the pack now.
I lost the window. Where'd the comment window go? Oh, there it is. Who said 97? Oh, Matt Murray. It was Matt Murray. Matt Murray, 7534.
Hey, Matt, good eye, buddy. Congrats.
He's standing up for himself. I love it. I love it. All right, Matt, send me an email. Sorry, Swamp Donkey. Well, if Swamp Donkey sends me an email, I'm going to have to send him something. That's okay. That's okay. I'm going to send Swamp Donkey something too. Matt, you send me an email. We're going to get you a 2020 fat pack of Donruss, sir, for your close guess of 97. Matt also did comment 6 days ago. He's a good man right there.
I like it. I like it.
Look how much. Holy crap, dude. Oh, that's a lot of 2. Sorry. A lot of 2 for
$46.95 with free shipping. That's pretty nice. And it looks like there's a handful, a little bit less than that.
$50.
I get it. I get it because the 2020 and now that box is pretty banged up, but
it's still sold for 110.
The 2020 product, you saw how much that went up in value. Granted, much more loaded class, so, you know, better hit rate for a valuable card. But I think we talked about this recently, and it seems like polls on other sports card channels that I follow seems to indicate people are now preferring optic over prism.
Absolutely. And what's interesting, I mean, I think people in general are gravitating back towards that rated rookie logo. Look how much the base Donruss from 2021 blaster box is selling for. You get that $44.95, man. That's right up there with the optic almost. And that's the base Donruss.
Well,
that's really good. And then you got 45. So I mean, that's one of the top sellers. Look how cheap. So your point about Prism, 2022 Donruss Football Hobby Box. I've got one right here, Steve, right here. If my day job wasn't raking me over the coals so bad right now, I'm literally, guys, working like a freaking one-arm paper hanger. I would have done this already, but I got this in the mail towards the end of last week. I'm pumped to give this away on behalf of the Card Shop Live sponsorship and the program that we did with them through what is that, December and January. So yeah, this is going to be a live stream, so make sure you guys have those little bell notification icons clicked, and we're going to be doing that very, very soon, But so that's $250, and that's on the top sellers. But then you've got the 2022 Prism Football Hobby Box, which just dropped on the Panini website the other day. And one of the guys, I think it was Hector, noted that the Dutch auction got down to like $675. And here's the pre-sale hobby box on Blowout for $750. $750 for a Prism hobby box is really good, but I guess it's all based on the strength of the draft class, man.
No, absolutely. 315. Wow. Next week. That means there will be some live breaks happening in the next couple of days, because you all know that somehow some of that product gets out there a couple of days early, and you will see breaks for it.
Anani says, seems like no delays for Prism 2022 this year. Well, I would agree with you, but here we are, March 9th, which I guess is a big improvement over when was it released last year? Like June, July? So this is okay. Joel said they pulled the Dutch auction when it got to $850. They couldn't bear it anymore. They want to sell those boxes that cheap. Matt, James is adamant. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the live chat. I just didn't quite get to do that. I'll watch the live chat. I take care of you, James. I'll take care of you. Don't worry, sir.
You know that that's cheaper. That is cheaper than 2022 Spectra. Believe it or not.
What's cheaper?
Prism.
The Prism?
Yeah.
I didn't even see Spectra, and Spectra's a hobby-only product. I'm surprised I didn't see that.
Spectra is $800. I wouldn't mind grabbing Phoenix.
Interesting.
Phoenix is coming out in the next few days, too.
All right, so we got an interesting tidbit that I starred up. I'm going back to some of the starred comments. At the beginning of the live stream, Purple Rain Sports Card said, "Bye, Sam Howell." Asked Derek Richard his opinion on Sam Howell. We talked about him ad nauseum. Like, we went into his college profile, his athletic profile, some of those explosive runs he had, the fearless playing style that he had. This guy's a scrappy player. This is an interesting statement from Ron Rivera yesterday, Steve, that they released Carson Wentz. If a veteran quarterback beats out Sam Howell for the week 1 starting job, so be it. So that's the latest sign that Rivera and the Commanders are not sold on Howell, but I kind of take it as if he is their starter and somebody's got to beat him out to actually get the starting job.
For sure.
I don't know.
I've actually read that. I've actually read that as well, that they basically said it's his job to lose at this point. So it's not like official. They didn't say Sam Howell is the starter, but they've made enough, indirect statements that said that he's their starter and most likely will be pending whatever happening. You know, if they were to sign Lamar Jackson or something like that, which as far as I know, the asking price, we'll get into that later, but his asking price is just too high and nobody's diving in.
Yeah, it's interesting. They could potentially re-sign Taylor Heineke to a 1-year deal. The free agent market have guys like Jimmy G. Jimmy G is expected to get a decent sized contract around the same size as Geno Smith, believe it or not. That's what they're projecting Jimmy G's value to be on the open market this offseason. He's going to get a job somewhere. You got Jacoby Brissett, Andy Dalton out there. So Gardner Minshew, we talked about as a free agent. So they'll probably bring in one of those older, dustier guys. I think the best case for Sam Howell would be like they bring in Jacoby Brissett or Andy Dalton, right? A serviceable guy, but a guy that Sam Howell could easily beat out in preseason. And I think that would lead to some considerable hype and excitement for him. We got a pretty solid team in Washington now, and I mean, this could be interesting. I know there's some Sam Howell fans out there. I want to hear from you guys if you guys are buying Sam Howell. Take a look at their. Look, Derek doesn't think unless they draft a top 4 QB, he doesn't think any of these free agent quarterbacks I just listed can beat Sam Howell out. And Sam Howell is a fantasy cheat code. So he's that guy that you can draft probably with an ADP. And we're going to start looking at Fantasy Mojo because they give a weekly update on ADPs from the big money leagues, from the best ball leagues, the dynasty startups, the seasonal leagues that are already going on early, like pre-draft. So there's mostly best ball formats right now. But yeah, you can do like Underdog Fantasy. We're still partnered with them. They are running best ball right now. Promo code Quest still gets you 100% instant deposit bonus up to $100, and you can draft a fantasy football team for 2023. Have the lineup automatically optimized on a weekly basis. We're going to be doing those best ball drafts here leading up into the draft to look at those ADPs. It's really insightful to see where the community is valuing certain players. Give you find value. Guy like Sam Howell's a perfect example, Steve. We could probably, if we spun up a super flex best ball draft right now on Underdog Fantasy, you probably get Sam Howell in a league that prioritizes quarterbacks that you want to have at least 2 in the first 2 to 4 rounds. You could probably still get Sam Howell in like the 6th or 7th round, maybe the 8th round, man. And this is a guy that could finish as like a top 10 borderline fantasy QB. That's a lot of production that'll convert to hype and demand for his rookie cards.
Well, I know we did at least a few drafts pre-NFL draft last year. I'm sure we will again this year. And I'm very looking forward to that. Going back, I wanted to touch on something. You mentioned Jimmy G. I think an interesting landing spot for him is actually Baltimore. And the reason for that is he's not going to be asked to do much different than he did in San Francisco. He's got a defensive-oriented run-first team, which is exactly what the Ravens are. He could, obviously have to learn a new playbook per se, but as far as what he's asked to do on a day-to-day basis is going to be almost the same thing.
Yeah, man. Very interesting. Very interesting. So you're thinking somebody's willing to pay the big bucks to Lamar Jackson to pry him away, man. I know he's not happy about that franchise tag, and I know he's talking. He's talking, even though he doesn't have his agent. His mom is probably calling these other teams.
I think he'll go somewhere. I think that it's going to require him to lower his guaranteed asking price. 200 is a lot. 200 is a lot. They're already going to have to give up 2 first-round picks to get him. He's going to have to drop his guaranteed request to have a chance.
So Justice here says Sam Howell has his college wide receiver from UNC. Is that De'Ami Brown? Is that who he's talking about? I know it's Jahan Dotson went to Penn State. Terry McLaurin. Oh yeah, De'Ami Brown. He's talking about De'Ami Brown, isn't he?
Interesting.
I mean, De'Ami Brown does have some athletic potential. He's just like he's a flanker style receiver. He kind of fits in the more that gadgety type of role.
Like the Saints offense.
Yeah, he's just not going to be like he's not an every down player unless guys get hurt. Like he had some playing time, had a big game last season whenever all the other guys were hurt, basically, But I mean, you're still going to have like insane target competition. Terry McLaurin, clear alpha, Curtis Samuel, stud, and Jahan Dotson, like a really good wide receiver. So, I mean, it's just the target competition there is going to be insane. But yeah, maybe throw some flyers on De'Ami Brown with that college connection. That's interesting.
No, I like that. I don't know how much Howell is going to be throwing the ball. I think that's the only upside cap potentially.
Yeah, we'll see how. I'm curious to see how he develops heading into his second year. I mean, he's got to understand he can't run the ball. I think he'll develop into a smarter quarterback that only scrambles when he needs to scramble, kind of like a tactical scrambler, Otherwise, you dumping it off to your incredibly talented weapons like Antonio Gibson or Curtis Samuel, or then finding Jahan Dotson or Terry McLaurin or the one or two receptions a game that De'Ami Brown gets, kind of thing. Look at something like this, dude. This is from Phoenix. What the hell kind of patch is that, dude? That patch is insane right here. What is that?
Oh, is that like from his glove? That looks like it's from his glove. Or
it's got like
thread that looks like a
coming
shoe
out.
Or glove stitching.
Shoe or glove? Like, how thick is that car? That's going to be a chonker, man.
Does it say on the back or no?
That is a chonker. No. It does not say.
That's cool.
04 out of 99.
I like that. And obviously that's going to go up a bit in price, but that's got some eye appeal. What do you think, Andy? Eye appeal?
I do, man. I do. I think there's definitely going to be from what I've seen, just looking at some of these other players from 2020 and 2021, they get popular. This Phoenix does pretty good, man. The Phoenix does pretty good. It seems to be made with some pretty good quality, and people like to collect it. I think it's got a pretty good design. I think something like this is also a good deal. This Origins for $165 with the blue ink. I mean, Origins is just like pure artwork. I mean, it looks really, really good, man. On-card autograph. Kind of just look out for those corners and edges. They get really kind of some whitening and stuff. 34 out of 49. I like this too.
And don't forget, then the next week, there's all these products coming out. Phoenix, Prism, etc. I mean, if you can find a cheap Washington spot, that's a good place to be.
I like these turn of the centuries. I think they look really cool. I'm hoping that they hold kind of long-term value because they did really good all throughout the season. I'm hopeful that they hold value, but it's going to be tough. Like I'm tempted to buy this one right here. I mean, I think this is a really good deal. Like come in here and make an offer to this guy. Maybe around $50, $60. Like that looks really good. That looks really appetizing.
So there's Travis or who said Terry said Phoenix value falls off when Prism hits. Generally, I agree with that. But Andy, I want to ask again something I mentioned earlier. How do you feel about the fact that Prism is selling for $50 less than Spectra?
Yeah, no, I think that Prism has definitely been taken down a notch as the hobby has evolved and people have branched out broaden their horizons on what they want to collect and what they find to be appealing, and they're not kind of stuck in this somewhat dogmatic belief around Prism. It's just like I feel that Prism has been diluted just like Select has, and it doesn't have a rated rookie logo. So I think it comes with a ton of printing issues. So
that's what I was going to say.
See,
I think
yeah,
that's a big one. I think that hurt a lot of people last year. Prism has always had a little bit of susceptibility to off-centering and quality control, but I don't think I've seen a worse Prism set than last year as far as quality control. And sticker autos, true. Andy's making the red wine bid. Let's go.
Done. Boom. Boom. Had to, man. Had to. That's a very very solid. All right, we're right at the hour mark. I want to answer a couple more questions before we get out of here tonight. Going to be a little bit shorter than our typical 2 to 3 hour live stream due to some family obligations. Tyler Rebellion said, "Who is a better buy, Drake London, Jameson Williams, or George Pickens?"
Well, they're all definitely good prospects, but I think that you're going to have to look at where they sit currently price-wise, and I would give the advantage to Drake London because his cards are significantly cheaper than all those. Jameson Williams cards are incredibly expensive already, and he hasn't done anything. And Pickens, he's got some expensive cards too. He's kind of like very volatile right now because he's had some really nice catches, but he hasn't really done a whole lot either. But I feel like Drake London is lagging behind the other two guys price-wise.
Yeah, man. If the Falcons decide to upgrade at quarterback somehow, whether it be through the draft or maybe they figure out a way to acquire themselves a guy like Lamar Jackson or somehow, yeah, Drake London's got so much potential. He's so good. I think his long-term career trajectory is going to be really good once he gets, a better quarterback. George Pickens is an absolute stud, man. That guy is just he's a freak, dude. He's a freak athlete. I feel extremely optimistic about his NFL career future. And Jameson Williams is eventually if I had to pick, which guy I'm most bullish on for 2023, it's got to be Jameson Williams or George Pickens, just because the quarterback situation is so uncertain in Atlanta. And I love the connection with Kenny Pickett. I think he develops and gets better. And the Pittsburgh fan base is just massive, rabid fan base. And George Pickens, yeah, I like his outlook. But Jameson Williams could bust onto the scene in a big, big way. That first-round draft capital from Alabama with that sub 4.4 speed. And we have not seen what his ceiling in a single game can look like in the Lions with that top 5 offensive line. And you get Jared Goff some time back there. I mean, he's going to let it rip. He's accurate. We could see some insanely monster games for Jameson Williams, like these crazy, gaudy 5-touchdown games that could just cause people to go crazy for his cards. So ultimately, I'm going to say Jameson Williams, but it's close between him and Pickens right now for me, with the great long-term upside for Drake London as well. But if I had to pick a guy that's best right now, I'd probably go Jameson.
I'm bullish on him too, but I think the biggest problem is if I definitely have a few cards of his on my watch list, and they're just so expensive already. And you got to ask yourself, how much more are they going to go up, compared to where they already are? Is he going to be worth more than Justin Jefferson or more than, Amon-Ra, like at his peak during the season this year? I don't think so. He's going to have to do a lot to get to that point. But I definitely think that if you're looking at it from like a fantasy perspective, I think that he's got the most upside. I think as far as who has the most room to grow right now, I still got to go with Drake London.
Jared said Javonte Williams still a good investment. The latest news on him is that he is not even going to be. He tore multiple ligaments in his knee, so much like J.K. Dobbins this past year, he's not going to be at 100% to start the season. I would not expect him to be at 100% potentially at all this year. Unfortunately, he's still a good investment, but I think the best time to buy him, much like J.K. Dobbins, is going to be sometime in October during the season, whenever all the focus is going to be on, whoever the top guys are, whether that's Bijan or whoever that is this upcoming year. Could be Eckler and Josh Jacobs and those guys again. So Kenneth Walker, whoever the focus is going to be on those guys. Whereas guys like Javonte that are struggling to get back to 100%, are going to be a big time buy during the season, like in October.
Yeah, definitely try to get on these guys with the high upside while they're down. Like we talked about Breece Hall last week and probably even the week before. I mean, he's a guy that's just too good to be held down, and he'll be back up to full strength. And as long as he doesn't get hurt again, I think he'll have a potential prolific season as long as they have some above average quarterback play.
Josh Allen, there's our guy Bjorn that commented this morning on the Kyle Pitts auto. He said, "How much should I be selling my Josh Allen score rookie for?" So let's go here and look at score. Is it raw graded? I would say PSA 9. I mean, that's gonna be around. I mean, you could try and get $40 for it, as you're seeing here. If it's raw, 20, PSA 10, 75. I mean, the good thing is these are all auctions, and these are all auctions from yesterday. None of them are unrealistic, so none of them look like they've been shill bid or unethically bid up. I mean, this is what I see on the Josh Allen market. It makes sense. It's college uniform. I mean, if you're trying to sell it now, you got to sell it for close to those comps if you want to move it. That's how the market works. So, yeah, I mean, depending on the grade, probably around a raw. So yeah, you could get 25, maybe 30. Put it in a one-touch case. Make sure you use good lighting, and you could probably get $30 for it.
Let's see. Name a running back that had an ACL tear and returned to form. I mean, Willis McGahee. Yeah, Tom agrees. Willis McGahee.
Saquon Barkley. I mean, there's a bunch of guys.
I don't think the ACL tear
AP.
is what it used to be, right? Like we talked about sports science and all that stuff. So I think that that used to be like a career ender. That was the death sentence of a running back. But I think that that's something that guys can bounce back from now.
Yeah, 100%. Modern sports medicine technology is incredible. If you want to auction it, Bjorn, that's fine. You'll force the sale. You'll definitely sell it. But I like to buy it now, because you could see here's an auction went for $16.50. If you're not ending the auction at the right time, and right now it's going to be very hard to time. We don't have actually games and events going down. So you could see you could get anywhere from 21 to $16.50 to this one went for $22.72. I think you're better off. If you're not in a rush to sell it, you can list it for $30 and a buy it now, require immediate payment, and you'll probably sell it. I would have a high degree of confidence that you'll sell it, but it may not sell right away. It may sit there for a few weeks, may sit there till around the draft time. Who knows? But you'll definitely sell it, but it just may take a little while. Unless you want to force it now, then you could put it in auction, but be prepared. It could end around $15 though if you do it that way.
I think another guy that had, a knee injury in the past season or two is looking to bounce back big, and that's Dobbins. We saw him at the end of last season make some amazing runs, and he admitted, he's still a bit sore. He had a very serious knee injury. But, I think now being like more than a year removed from it this season, I think that he's going to be a solid play. And I think that people are going to be low on him because there's uncertainty around the quarterback position. there's going to still be a lot of people with that injury in the back of their mind, but that's a guy that, you can get late and, roll out as your RB1 and profit.
Yeah, Bjorn, I'd have to check your pictures, man, and see what the pictures look like, the condition. You may have to let it sit for a little while. I would also, take a picture and post it up on social media. I mean, it's a common card. It's one of his most common. Look, there's PSA 10 quantity there, so it's you may have to. If you really want to sell it right now, then you probably have to take $15 or so. But I think there's a good chance, like this one. That's a little small in the distance, but something like that, I think you can definitely sell it for closer to $30 if you're patient.
Yeah, and don't be scared to try, another platform too. You don't have to put it just on eBay.
Tristan says, is it a good time to sell Mahomes? Well, yeah, he's coming off a Super Bowl win. People are buying. He's still one of the top sellers right now. If you look overall, the Optic PSA 10 base is still selling for $1,000. So it is absolutely 100% a good time to sell Mahomes. It's just, if you bought him at the peak of the market at the end of the 2020 season, beginning of 2021, then that was a very inflated price. That was, a ballooned price that it just cannot be realistically obtained any longer. But these current prices are still absolutely incredible for Mahomes. Right at $926 for that base Donruss PSA 10. The $4,600 for the base Prism PSA 10. Yeah, it's a fantastic time. Joe wants you to hold tight. So of course you can hold tight on a guy like Mahomes, who's a perennial Hall of Famer, the current career trajectory he's on. So, but at the same time, the demand right now for football cards is incredible. The prices are still very good. And I think you can still get Super Bowl prices for your Mahomes card. They have not really changed at all from the Super Bowl. So if you want to go ahead and sell, by all means, why not? Like this auction. Yeah, I would not be selling that in auction. That's not a card I'd put in auction right now. Wouldn't do it because you don't have those events to really drive like the auction hype. But I would list that card for $5,000 and see what kind of action I get on it.
I think it's important too to be patient. The off season for the most part until about free agency and then the draft and then the start of camp, and unless there's a guy involved in a lot of news, like there's going to be some stagnant pricing and a little bit of a stagnant market for most guys, unless they're directly involved in a trade or impacted by a trade, like a quarterback addition to their team or something like that. So, don't get discouraged in the off season. Like Andy said, there's still volume going on, but there's a big difference in, let's say, $30 and $50 on the same card if you manage to hold it to the start of the season.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, Steve, we are at the hour 18-minute mark. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you leave these questions if we didn't get to them in the comment section below, and we will get to them next time. So if not, hop in our Discord and you can instantly chat with us 24/7, other experts in the community, patreon.com/footballcards. Steve, I appreciate you tonight. We'll be back real soon, guys. Stay tuned.
Oh, yeah. Good night, everybody. See you next week.